Welcome to another Tools Motivation live training session. This is the second one of the year, and if you kind of look on my screen, where I'm just so you can see me here, over to if you look on the screen and then go to your left, which is to my personal right, we have Marie Mack. Marie, say hello. She's our co-host here at Tools Motivation.
Hello.
Marie's going to be running a lot of these meetings. She was our first trainer of the year, so everybody knows who she is now if you watch the replay. It'll be also, a lot of these sessions will also have Tools Motivation sales manager Trevor Payne. He's actually out of office today. So he'll be on a lot of these as well. And if you ever have questions about these sessions or future sessions or any of our products or anything to do with PLR, you can reach out to him and have a call with him or book a meeting or whatever. And to my, on the screen view, looking to the right or over my left shoulder, we have Lou Bortone. Lou, say hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing great. So Lou's our special guest today. Lou, I don't have a giant intro to read because I think people by now probably read it in the email. Lou's been a long time friend of mine, JV partner, all those good things. Lou and I were actually in a mastermind group together for a couple of years, sharing all kinds of cool strategies and techniques. I learned a lot from him. And Louis was even a guest speaker on our private member webinars that we do bi-weekly on the opposite Thursday of these. And he had an awesome session last year. He rocked the house, gave some amazing tips about video marketing, and people walked away with some just like super tangible stuff they were able to test right away in their business. And we had a lot of great feedback. So I asked him nicely to join us again for the bigger training session. So I'm so happy that we have lots of people jumping in here. Lou, I'm going to pass it over to you for your top 23 tips on video for 2023.
Awesome. Thank you. You might need to mute.
I'm going to go ahead and mute as well. So 1 second. Mute all, and I'm going to unmute. There we go, Lou. If I can unmute you.
There we go.
There we go. So please do mute your mics, everybody, if you're not. And Lou, you are good to go.
All right. I'm going to share my screen then, and let me know if there's any issues with seeing it or not seeing it. And
Looks good.
We'll jump right in. Cool. Well, thanks again for being here, and thank you so much for having me, Justin. It's good to be here with this group. I see a lot of familiar faces. And what I wanted to do today was talk about 23 video tips for 2023. We're still relatively early in the year, and I don't have anything to sell or pitch, but I do want to mention that I have a new program coming up called Fast Forward. Well, that went fast. So I'll tell you a little bit about that later, but I really just want to kind of share all the stuff I have for you today. All these goofy photos that you see are AI generated. And I wanted to do that just to kind of touch upon AI because it is all the rage and there's so much talk about it. As Justin mentioned, I am a video marketing pro. I've been doing this for over 20 years. And before being in online video, can you guys see my screen?
I can see the pink 23 video tips piece.
Okay, so the slides are not going through.
Yeah, we're not seeing the goofy photos, and everybody's really anxious to see them.
Damn it. All right, well, I may have to do it this way. Is that okay if you see my
yeah,
little...
that's perfectly fine. It's still, okay. If you go full screen for everybody watching, you should be able to see all of the Lou's stuff.
Great.
Just give a thumbs up if you can, and if you let us know in the chat if you have any problems seeing it.
Goofy photos, courtesy of artificial intelligence, which is sometimes I think what my brain is, artificial intelligence. As I mentioned, I've been doing this for quite a while. Before I was in the online video space, and I just looked back to see, just out of curiosity, I posted my first video on YouTube in spring of 2005, and they started in February 2005. So I guess I was pretty early on that one. Before I was doing this, I was in the television and entertainment business for many years and lived in Los Angeles and still pretend that I live there because last week here in New Hampshire, it was 14 below zero. Before we jump into, oh, come on, Marie, you know you want to come and visit when it's 14 below. Anyway, before we jump into the tips, I did want to mention a little bit about ChatGPT, just because there's so much buzz around it these days, and everybody's talking about ChatGPT. What is it? What can it do? What can't it do? I don't think it's necessarily going to be a replacement for video, but it can definitely give some ideas. So if you just type in, how can we use ChatGPT? ChatGPT will be nice enough to give you several answers about copywriting. And if you type in, how can we use ChatGPT for video? it will also give you some ideas. So it's not bad for generating ideas. And what I'm going to do at the end is I'm going to deliver my quick 23 tips, and then I'm going to ask ChatGPT the same thing and see if the things that ChatGPT come up with are any good. One big limitation with ChatGPT is right now, the information in there only goes up to 2021. So if there's something really new happening with the YouTube algorithm or something new happening with video, it's not necessarily going to know that. So again, I did, like last week, I did a thing where I said, I'm going to do my 23 tips and then ask ChatGPT the same. But we'll start with my tips, and I'm kind of going a mile wide here and not a mile deep. So if you have questions on any of these, feel free to ask. But I'm going to jump right in and talk about what you should be doing with video in 2023. And the first tip is really just to start where you are with what you have. You don't have to wait to have the perfect equipment. You don't have to wait to have the perfect message. You don't have to wait until you're ready to walk the red carpet. You really can start where you are with what you have. And even if that's only a smartphone or an iPhone or an Android, that's perfectly fine to use as a video camera. Having said that, tip number 2, I think going live is probably the low-hanging fruit of video. If you haven't done a lot of video before, going live, particularly on Facebook, tends to be a little less pressure. It's a little less formal. Again, people are not expecting, anything too fancy on Facebook Live. So live is a good way to start if you haven't done video before. Tip number 3, we're zipping right through these here. Video is now your best branding tool. And I say that because I believe video can create know, like, and trust faster than any other platform or resource. You can connect with video, you can engage with video, and you ultimately can build your brand more quickly with video because people can see who you are and what you're all about. So video is an awesome tool for building your brand and for accelerating your brand building. Number 4, off-camera video is still video. So I could easily do this PowerPoint or this presentation on Zoom without showing myself on camera. You can do animated videos, you can do screencasts or screen sharing. There are a lot of ways to approach video if you don't necessarily want to be on camera or if you're having a bad hair day. So it's totally legit way to do video. It can be very effective. You don't necessarily have to be on video to do video. However, when you are on camera, I think that's more important for making the connection and building that brand. Tip number 5.
Lou,
Yep.
it's Justin here. Can I jump in for 1 second?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, so first of all, love the first 4 points. Everybody's loving them. We're getting some great feedback here. I want to say that this is a first. We have never had this before. We have Marcel sharing live notes through otter.ai right in the chat. So if you haven't popped in the chat yet, you can get the notes directly there. So Lou, you're being transcribed in real time.
Cool.
I don't know if that's ever happened to you before.
Cool. I'll watch my language and try to be on my best.
And yeah, we got a lot of people just agreeing with what you were saying. And I just wanted to read out Diane's comment was awesome. That's why I'm here, to supercharge my know, like, and trust factor, which is pretty much what you're going with here.
Yes, absolutely.
So that's awesome. Anyways, yeah, we'll let you get back at it. I just wanted to let you know that there's some great feedback coming in and people are loving it.
Yes. And for Savita's question, a mixture of live and off camera is a great way to go. I'll talk a little bit later on about sort of finding your video sweet spot and the best kind of video for you to do. And also a mix of short and longer videos, but I'm getting a little ahead of myself. But another point I wanted to make, another tip, is that video podcasting is really exploding. And I just read recently that YouTube just became the #1 platform for people to watch or listen to podcasts. More than iTunes, more than Spotify, more than Amazon Music, YouTube has become a huge platform for video podcasting. And even if you just have the audio and you're showing a slide or a little animation, you can very easily turn your audio podcast into a video podcast and then take advantage of YouTube. So that's why I recently started a podcast. I resisted it for years, but once I heard that YouTube was basically now the king of podcasting, I decided I'd jump in. Tip number 6, your video camera is your phone. I mentioned this earlier. The cameras that are on smartphones, if you have a phone that's, within a year or two old, are better than most of the cameras that people paid $5,000, $10,000 for 5 or 10 years ago. So if you have a smartphone, you have a video camera, so you have no excuse for not doing video. Tip number 7, know your must-have videos. And what I mean by that is that I feel like there are videos that every business owner or entrepreneur should have: a homepage video on your website, an about me video to tell folks about who you are and what you do, a YouTube channel trailer video so that when people go to your YouTube channel, they can see who you are and what you do. So it may vary depending on your business, but there are probably 4 or 5 videos that everyone really needs to have. And when you know those and you can work on those, you'll be off to a really good start.
Hey, Lou, can I add one there?
Yeah, definitely.
So this is one I just wanted to share with the group because it's so relevant to the point you were just making. Must-have videos. When we were running ads last year, Google ads specifically, some Facebook ads as well, we did the typical, go to a lead magnet, opt in, get your free thing. And then what we do is on that thank you page where they download their freebie, as well as the next email that goes out, we had 2 different videos.
Ooh.
So we get that branding, right? So it's my sales manager, Trevor, and myself on camera, welcoming them into our funnel, saying hello, showing that there's a face and a name behind the brand. And I found the stick factor for that cold traffic was so much higher. So wanted to throw that one out there as well, because I think a lot of people forget that in their lead gen and their list building.
Excellent. Yeah. And really, if you have a video at every step of the customer journey, it's giving you more touch points and more chances to connect. So yeah, there's a video on the sales page, but as you mentioned, there's also a video on the thank you page so that you can kind of reassure folks that they're in the right place and they've got the right stuff. And then you can even follow that up with, I do a lot of video emails and a lot of kind of follow up via video, which I'll talk about a little bit later. All right, and number 8, learn basic editing techniques. Now, before you go off screaming in horror, it is not that difficult to do some basic editing. You don't have to necessarily have, expensive software like Final Cut Pro or Adobe After Effects. Whether you're on a Mac or a PC, there are online platforms that you can use to edit video, like wevideo.com. There are simpler programs, whether you're on a Mac or PC. For Mac, iMovie; for PC, maybe Adobe Premiere. But if you have just a few basic editing techniques, a little editing can go a long way, even if you're just cleaning up the beginning or the end. And I think it's only going to get easier. Now there's all kinds of AI video things coming up, like wave.video, that are going to help you to basically, edit your video without having to be a video editor. ScreenFlow is a great way to do it. Camtasia, there's a number of ways to edit your videos. Tip number 9 is to be consistent and strive to post videos weekly. Weekly is a really good goal to shoot for if you're doing videos. And I think I mentioned later on, I tend to batch record, so I might do 3 or 4 at once and then drip them out over the course of days or weeks. But consistency is really important. I mean, we're at the point now where you can't just say, yeah, I did a video, I'm done with that whole part of my marketing. You really want to strive to be out there and be visible at least once a week. In addition, tip number 10 is to get your YouTube channel updated and optimized. Oops, sorry about the typo there. But YouTube is really a beast when it comes to video and video discoverability and SEO and all that stuff. So you're really doing yourself a disservice if you don't have a YouTube channel and you are not optimizing it. It may take a while to kind of get viewers and get subscribers, but it's worth it in the long run to have a presence on YouTube. Number 11, use AI to generate video topics and ideas. At the top of the presentation, we mentioned that AI and ChatGPT are kind of all over the news these days, and you can use them to generate video ideas and even to help with video script writing. And I don't think it's necessarily a copy and paste solution, but it is a way to get started and a way to generate ideas for that. Tip number 12, get a freaking green screen for your Zoom recordings. So I have a green screen here that I use. I think it's an easy way, especially if you're on Zoom a lot, to look more professional. You can put virtually any background you want behind you. And if you have a green screen and decent lighting, then you won't sort of disappear and ghost out of the image like you see a lot on Zoom. So it, especially if you're doing a lot of Zooms, it may definitely help to have a green screen background. If I stop my video or if I change my background, you can see here that my actual background is just a green screen here.
Mm.
But with the green screen, I can, I could even put animation behind here if I wanted, but I'll just put a generic background for now. Tip number lucky 13 is to ask your clients for video testimonials. Video testimonials are a really great way to get social proof and to, get folks to realize who you are, what you do, by having other people tell them about you. So it's gotten a bit easier to do video testimonials. Again, you can do them if you're at a trade show or a conference. You can do them right on your iPhone or Android. There are other programs like Hippo Video that basically are set up to do and record video testimonials. But it's really a great way to get some social proof for your business. Anything to add, Justin, before I continue?
No, that's great. Love that one.
All right. So as may be hard to believe for somebody who does video, but I don't particularly like being on camera. I'm very camera shy and an introvert. But really what you need to do, like anything, is if you want to get more confidence on camera, you just have to practice and be on camera more. So it's really just a matter of doing it and getting more comfortable with it. And being on camera for a virtual event like this, as I'm sure Maria Justin can tell you, is much different than being on a stage with a live audience. So you really have to remember, like I have to remember, because my camera's way up here, I have to remember to try to engage the camera and not always look down at my screen like that. But if you want to get better on camera, you just got to practice. Earlier, I had mentioned that batch recording videos is a great way to get videos done. I have two very rambunctious pugs, rescue pugs, who are thankfully napping at the moment. So when I do find those rare quiet times, the guy next door is not blowing his leaves, I may take a Sunday afternoon and carve out an hour or two and just try to bang out as many videos as I can. I figure as long as I'm doing videos and the environment's right, I just record. Savita, I just go on Zoom and just record, and then save all the videos on Zoom. Zoom gives me an MP4 file. I may edit those videos a little bit, but what I'll definitely do is then have them set up and drip them out over the course of time. And even on YouTube, you can actually schedule a video. So what I do for my clients is I may do 4 or 5 videos for them, but then I schedule them each week to come out, Tuesdays at 2 p.m. or whatever time we agree on. But batch recording is a great way to get a lot done and then have a video presence, because you can then drip those videos out over days, weeks, or months.
Lou, can I ask one more question about the editing since we're on the topic?
Sure.
Yeah, and I actually have a private question that came into my chat here. I'll read out as well since we're. I find with Zoom recordings, even this one today, if I don't just pull the MP4 down and then directly load it to Vimeo or YouTube or whatever, let's say I want to do some screen flow after editing, it can get, I don't know if it's the compression or what it is, but sometimes I find the video editors that I use, whether it's ScreenFlow or otherwise, kind of has a hard time with the file. I don't know if it's because of the compression, or do you get the same issue?
I think part of it is if you are recording to the cloud, the quality is going to be much less than if you record to your hard disk or if you record directly to your computer. I've definitely noticed that.
Okay.
Cloud
Yeah,
recording,
I record them all locally, so I'm still getting the issue. So, and I'm on a pretty powerful Mac. So I was just,
and I have the same issue too. And I have a Lumina webcam, and sometimes, despite all the best equipment, sometimes the compression on Zoom just isn't the greatest. So it may be a bandwidth issue. It may just depend on your internet connection that particular day. But by and large, most of the time on Zoom, I don't have too many problems. But But yeah, I definitely know what you mean about that. And I used to just think it was like, oh, well, yeah, I can't record to the cloud, but sometimes it's other factors as well.
Got it. The other question, just since we're on the topic here, it was actually related to a previous point on
Mhm.
YouTube. Basically, the question was, are you suggesting that we should be doing vertical video as opposed to horizontal on YouTube? Do you just want to comment on that?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And I think one of my tips is about short form videos. Short form videos are vertical, they tend to be done on a mobile phone, and they're typically for TikTok, Instagram Reels, or YouTube Shorts. So a lot of folks are recording that way just because they're recording on their phone, and that's the way you know, younger generations tend to watch everything.
Hmm.
So like, it's the same question as should I do short videos or long videos? Ideally, you're doing a combination. So my podcast, my video podcast is 15 minutes, but I do 1 minute previews vertically to promote the longer videos and send people to the longer videos.
Got it.
So I find that short videos are good for quick hits and
Yeah,
basically getting people to your longer content.
promoting the long con. Yeah, cool.
Awesome. All right, we'll keep going then. Um, Tip number 16 is to get personal with one-to-one video emails. Now, Justin knows this. I love video
Mhm.
email. I use it a lot. I think it's kind of like the new cold calling, but less intrusive. And what that means basically is you can use any number of softwares, even Zoom or Loom, to record one-to-one videos and send people messages. Maybe if you just got back from an event and you want to follow up with somebody, or if you have a big meeting the next day and you want to get folks, give them a reminder about that. Again, it's these touch points of video. And I find that one-to-one personal videos, and again, they don't have to be great quality, they just have to be, engaging and personal. Those can be really, really effective. So there are a number of ways to use those. There's all kinds of different software to do them. If you want to record your screen, you can use Loom. I use software called Warm Welcome, which basically allows me to do these quick videos and then just attach them right to Gmail and send them out. And the user doesn't have to download any other software or whatever. They'll just open their email and see my smiling face. So love
Not to
personal.
keep chiming in here and interrupting you,
No,
but
go right ahead.
I just want to, I do want to share my own example with this as well. First of all, love the one-to-one video emails. I don't think enough people realize, first of all, how powerful it is. And second of all, do it often enough.
Mhm.
So one thing that I found it super useful for is if you're doing JV deals, or if you even have like clients, or even for us, we have customers, we have like thousands of customers. We have people that are coming to us over and over again. Sometimes you want to create a little bit more of an in-person connection with those folks because they're doing so much business with you. We've
Mhm.
had cases where a project got delayed or we had to cancel something, and it's kind of hard to word, letting someone down or changing plans because you miss out on the body language, the tonality. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll pop an email open, but the majority of my message will be me on Loom staring into the camera and sort of saying, I apologize for the delay. I'm sorry to change plans with you here. The reason it happened was, and they could kind of explain it as though you're sitting having a coffee, and it's way easier to build that empathy. Or, if you're, so for me, I found it super useful when you have to change plans or make some kind of deviation from what the
Mhm.
original idea was. Just
Yeah.
wanted to add that in.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a lot easier to say you're sorry through. It's like, you don't want to break up with somebody
Yeah.
via fax, you know. so,
Yeah, exactly.
Not that I've ever done that. And thank you, Chad, because Chad posted an example of a testimonial page that used Warm Welcome. So that's cool. Warm Welcome is one of those tools that I use quite a bit. I think it might be $15 a month or something, but I use that video email several times a day. And at this point, it's gotten quicker for me to send a video email than to type out a response.
Yeah.
All right, tip number 17. We're in the home stretch here. Get the right gear, but keep it simple. A lot of folks will say, I don't want to start doing video until I have just the right lights or just the right mic. And, you don't necessarily need too much stuff. A good microphone, a good webcam, and decent lighting, and you should be good to go. And I say keep it simple because every time you add another piece of software or another piece of equipment, it complicates the process. So now, after years of resisting it, I actually have a teleprompter, which I'm not using now, but having the teleprompter, and then if you're doing a live and you're trying to watch the software and you're fooling around with your lights, the more stuff you add, the harder it gets. So try to keep it simple. And a few key elements like a webcam and a microphone are going to go a long way for you. Tip number 18, and somebody brought this up earlier, but short form video is really popular right now. YouTube added YouTube Shorts in response to TikTok. TikTok has gotten a lot more mainstream. Like, you know, I remember when my kids, who are now not kids, they're like 24 years old, my 24-year-old twin said, "Dad, stay off TikTok and we'll stay off Facebook." So we had this bargain for a while, but then I said, I can't stay off it any longer. It's too mainstream and too popular. So short form video is a great way to get stuff out there quickly. It's a great way to get awareness. They have good, you know, better chances of going viral because they're short and sweet and quick. They tend to be done on mobile phones, so it's really easy to do them if you're bored and waiting in line at the grocery store. So I always say short form video is a great addition to your regular video that you might be doing that's a bit longer. Marty asked where I placed the teleprompter, and I have the teleprompter just above my computer with an iPad that I use to share the text for the teleprompter. And when I'm doing videos like this, or just 2-minute tips or 3-minute tips, I don't use a teleprompter. What I use it for is my podcast is about 10 to 15 minutes long, and I can't memorize that much text. So I actually type everything out, put it on the teleprompter, and use it as a guide. And I'm using a software called Prompt Smart, which is voice activated. So if I slow down or I deviate from the script, the prompter will stop and not get ahead of me. That was always my problem with teleprompters in the past, was that the text would always be going too slow or too fast. Big View is a good one as well. All right, tip number 19, reuse and repurpose your videos across all platforms. If you create a video for YouTube, there's no reason why you can't post it to Facebook or LinkedIn or perhaps Instagram. The only time it gets a little bit tricky is if you have a TikTok video that's vertical. You know, you can definitely use that for YouTube Shorts, but it might not necessarily work on LinkedIn. But in most cases, if you're creating content, you really should recycle and repurpose it. I have a video that I did, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago. That was a really goofy video. I got up in costume and dressed as Moses and did the 10 Commandments of online video. And I still dredge up that video and post it. I have another video about one time I was fortunate enough to go to the Oscars. So every year at Oscar time, I dredge up that video and repost it, and it keeps getting more views and seen by more people. So recycle, repurpose, reuse your videos. Tip number 20, find your video sweet spot and your favorite video style. If you absolutely hate doing live video, that's not your sweet spot, and you're probably not going to do it that often. But if you like doing webinars like this, where you're sharing slides, or if you like doing interviews, whatever that sweet spot may be, you'll discover it, and that will be hopefully your go-to platform or your go-to style of video. I don't love Instagram or TikTok, so I don't do as many of those. My sweet spot is probably more trainings and things where I can share my slides and share a lot of information in a short amount of time. So, all right, Justin says that there will be a replay of this. Excellent. Tip 21, focus on your top 3 video platforms. And this is tough for somebody with adult ADD like me. Every time I hear about a new platform or a new software, I want to go try it. But ultimately, you know, people say, oh my God, you've got to be on Instagram, and you've got to be on TikTok, and you've got to be on LinkedIn, and you've got to be on this and that. I say focus on the top 3 video platforms where your audience is, and focus most of your efforts on those. So for me, just because of where my audience is, it's YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Does that mean I never do TikTok? I do it once in a while, but I really focus on my top 3 platforms and make sure that I have a presence there. And later on, if I want to go and you know, explore Instagram or TikTok or Pinterest, I'll do that later. So pick 3 and stick with that. Tip number 22, streamline and simplify your video recording process. And basically that just means if you have a setup and a setting where you can basically just fire up the webcam and go anytime, it's going to be a lot easier to do video. So I have my lights set up, I don't move them. I have my camera set up, I don't move that. Anytime I want to do video, I can just basically turn on, you know, jump on Zoom or turn on Loom and go. So you want to have something that you can really streamline and simplify and not have to, you know, create a new setup every single time you do it. All right, tip number 23, last but not least, just freaking start. The hardest part about any of this is to just do it. Don't wait till conditions are perfect. I've always said done is better than perfect, and you want to just get something out there. You can always improve as you go along. One of the things that I did as a trick was, well, first I would put my pugs in videos because they get way more views than me. But if I was doing a video challenge or something where I knew people had to make a lot of video, I would do my first video right after I came out of the gym after a workout, because I figured this is as bad as I'm going to look. So I'd rather get the bad video over with and do a real quick iPhone video where I'm gross and sweaty, because then there's nowhere to go but up. But the main thing is to really just start. And if you need help with any of that kind of stuff, I do have a video planner. I don't know if that's the right, I think Justin has the link here, but it's bortone.com/JP. And this is a quick little video planner that will give you both an Excel sheet to help you plan your videos and a kind of a step-by-step video planner. And you can get that at bortone.com/JP. I find it really helpful to just kind of have that checklist of, you know, what am I doing this video for and what's the best way to start. And I also find it helpful to have an Excel sheet where I can basically figure out what is the video for, what style am I going to use, am I on camera or off camera, and when am I going to post it, etc. I did say that I was going to share some of the tips that came from ChatGPT, just out of curiosity. So I asked ChatGPT to come up with 23 quick tips related to online video and video marketing. And the tips it came up with were pretty good. I mean, you know, certainly pretty legit. Some of them were kind of obvious. Others are, you know, keep your videos short and to the point. That's true. But again, ChatGPT is not taking into account what's happened in the last year and a half. So there's definitely a place for longer videos. Like YouTube now wants you to do videos that are 10 minutes long to keep people on YouTube longer because they reward watch time. Optimize your videos for search. Yes, but again, that's become less important in the last 6 months on YouTube, and ChatGPT wouldn't necessarily know that because it doesn't have all the up-to-the-minute information. Use engaging videos, use storytelling, use calls to action. Definitely, that's one that I missed that I probably should have put in. Use humor, easier said than done. Animation, again, sometimes easier said than done. Customer testimonials, we talked about that. Use video in email marketing, we mentioned that one. Use video in landing pages. So you can see that the tips that ChatGPT came up with are not bad. They just need to be fleshed out a little bit, and they need to have a little bit more updating, perhaps. Live streaming. I mean, some of it's kind of generic and obvious, but all in all, if you didn't know where to begin and you just said, you know, give me 23 tips or 23 uses, ChatGPT would do a pretty good job with it. So really not too bad. And again, you know, we don't want to cut and paste it, but it does give us a jumping off point to start with. I asked ChatGPT, for instance, it's kind of like the garbage in, garbage out that we used to talk about when computing first started. But, you know, ChatGPT is not going to give it your tone, your personality. Like Savita says, you have to add a sassy tone to your videos. And ChatGPT won't give you that, but it will give you a good jumping off point. And when in doubt, refer back to the video planner that you can get for free online at bortone.com/JP. And any questions, I am happy to answer them.
Yeah, so there was a couple that came in. I'll read them out to you. From Colleen asked first, more of a request. Would you please add a photo of your teleprompter placement for the replay? Just so I think people want to get an actual visual of how you do it.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
that may come in handy.
It's so funny because I can control what's right here, but if I turn the camera around,
Yeah.
you don't even want to see what's on that side.
Fair enough.
But I will take a photo of that and send it to you. So
That's awesome. And then the other question, I apologize, I forget who asked it. I just wrote it down here. I'm not sure if you know this one, but I'll ask it anyway. What do you use to translate your videos into another language, such as Spanish?
ChatGPT
Yeah.
will translate for you. I mean, sometimes I can just use Google Translate, like, if I have a video that I want to put in Italian, I'll do it that way. But apparently, and I haven't actually tried this yet, but if you put your English text into ChatGPT and say, translate this in Spanish, it will give you an accurate transcription.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
So that, yeah, hopefully that answers your question. There's a bunch of, I'll just go ahead and read the chat here, Lou, so you can grab a drink or whatever. So let's see. Chad Fullerton had a great tip. So YouTube Shorts are, maybe you want to comment too, Lou.
Mm-hmm.
YouTube Shorts are taking off as Google focuses on promoting them to compete with Instagram Reels. I've definitely noticed that. I'm seeing a lot more views to Shorts organically over the past month. If you're doing Instagram Reels, you can also post to YouTube Shorts. The only difference is Shorts need to be 60 seconds, so make 60-second videos. You can then post to both platforms.
Yes, and I use software called repurpose.io, which is a friend of ours, Hanny Mora, has this software where basically you can set it up so that you can say, send this Instagram reel to TikTok, so every time it will automate the process for you, and you can share your videos that way using repurpose.io. And yeah, the other thing with Shorts that's interesting and why YouTube is putting a lot of emphasis behind them is that now you can monetize those. So you can share in the monetization and the ad revenues. I think you probably have to have an X amount of subscribers, but they are starting to monetize their Shorts as well.
Yeah, and then Sandra was asking, how do you do YouTube Shorts? I think just once you have a YouTube account, you could just pick what type of video you're posting, correct?
Yeah, and if it's basically under 60 seconds and vertical format up and down like this, then
it's automatic.
Post it to Shorts.
Great. And Lisa said this was so awesome. Thank you, Lou.
Thanks.
I definitely second that. And there's many people that have said something along those lines as well. Didn't read them all out. Savita was asking, what do you use for AI photos? I can't remember if you talked about that already. I was reading a lot of comments there.
Yeah, that's a really good question. Now I have to remember.
Yeah.
One of them I think was called My Heritage, the one that sort of will put you like, do you want to look like a Viking? Or do you want to look like a Roman emperor? And I actually did this as a joke for my wife. I don't know if she was amused or not, but I used My Heritage, and that you upload a bunch of your photos and then they spit out a bunch of photos of you like throughout history. So I have a photo of me as a Roman emperor that I printed and got framed and gave it to her for Christmas. So I'll be sleeping on the couch for a while for that one.
Oh man,
I thought it was fun.
Yeah, that's amazing. Okay, Gail saying this is awesome sauce, Lou and Justin, but Lou, are the slides available with the replay? I'm sure we could get a dump of your slides somewhere there.
Yeah, I have a PDF that I'll send to you, Justin.
Yeah, so we'll make sure that gets, just to make sure you're checking your email tomorrow. We'll send out an email broadcast to the whole list, and that'll include the slides somewhere. We'll figure all that out after the fact. Yeah, thanks so much for summarizing all these amazing gems. I'll be using them. And also another shout out to Marcel, because we have a post now to a live transcript on the go. So even if you're watching on the replay, there should be some transcript or some notes that are part of this meeting. You can see the link to that, assuming it stays live. I've never had anybody post that before, but I was blown away by that. Super cool. What else did I see here? Coming, a lot of thank yous, awesome presentations. We'll send little snapshots of this for your testimonial reel, Lou. What editing program did you say you prefer? This is from Jennifer. I have Camtasia, but not a lot of versatility.
I have used Final Cut Pro for close to 20 years. That's what I'm used to. But if you're on a Mac, iMovie is kind of the simpler version of Final Cut. If you're on a PC, honestly, I mean, Camtasia, you can use screencast to some extent, but it comes down to personal preference. I do want to mention there's another program called Descript, which started as a transcription service. And now you can use it for video editing. And I think it's going to be a game changer because you basically edit the text and the text makes changes to the video. So I'm using Descript to edit my podcast, my video podcasts, because I can move paragraphs around and it will basically change. It's going from like what's usually a linear timeline editing to a text editing. So Descript is going to be a game changer for that, I think.
Yeah, Descript is huge. All righty. So do we still have Marie in the house?
Yeah.
I'm still here.
Marie's still here. Awesome.
I was looking up all the cool stuff.
Yeah,
I just was looking
yeah.
up. I didn't know Descript did. I always used it just for translation stuff or, you know, editing.
It's great too, because I edit podcasts for some folks and turn their audios into videos. And there's like with one click, you can take out ums and ahs and knows and stuff like that. And it'll be like, oh, we just removed 47 ums and ahs from your.
Oh, I hate seeing that too, because you're like, I know I didn't say all that. No.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And Chad makes a good point too, that you can take those Descript videos. And that's another thing I do with my podcast is I'll make a clip and it'll give you like the audio waveform. So it's more interesting visually and you can put the captions up and things like that. So, I mean, the good news is that all of this stuff is basically making it easier to get your message out with video.
I heard something last week at the when I was at the event that like there's 90% of all marketing stuff is coming through video right now. So especially as I guess people on and just kind of making sure as we're using PLR, we're thinking about how this all interacts, add that in as a layer, right? Your content's coming in. The last thing you probably downloaded from Tools for Motivation has some tips and tricks and stuff, and you can video record that. Like all of it can kind of come together in one spot, just so blending all of this information together. I know Lou, you've used a lot of our video sets too, our 100 videos.
If you do a tip and tail, like a video at the beginning and a video at the end, it really helps to brand it and personalize that PLR content and kind of give it your own.
I have a random question. Okay, this just came up, but so we do a lot, we have articles, we have newsletters, we have a lot that comes in our PLR. Have you ever done like a recap inside of like a newsletter or something, a video recap of what you're training about, just to kind of add that in? I know you talked about individual videos, like doing a Loom video or something like that, but I was just thinking of, really enhancing that experience for your viewers with their content.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and you can take, going back to Descript, you can take an article and post it to Descript and then, they have, generic B-roll and things like that. So you can add images or slides to Descript and basically say, oh, I just took this article. And what's even scarier is it will narrate it in your voice once you put your voice into Descript. So I can put an article in there and say, narrate as Lou, add images, and the AI will, you have to fix the AI and fix the images. But, if you're talking about Colorado, it's going to show you pictures of mountains and things like that. So,
right. Fascinating. Yeah. One of the questions that just came in, it says, how do you feel about Jasper? That's a good question, Jennifer. I was just talking about Jasper earlier.
I haven't used it too much myself yet.
Yeah. Justin, we were using stuff like that. We were kind of testing out a couple things for TFM.
Yeah, definitely. We've played around with several of the different AI tools, Jasper, Simplified, ChatGPT, not for content creation, but for marketing and for, different systems, stuff like that. It's all worth a shot. I mean, depends what you're trying to do in your marketing. I think it's worth taking a look at all those things if it can help your productivity. I actually do have. Just real quick on that same thing. I think one of the things that Lou said that was super important, just start, right? Like just try it out, just do something, give Jasper a try, give ChatGPT a try, turn on your video, do a short. I think that's the biggest takeaway for me anyway, especially with video, is just go ahead and put it out there. And know that you're giving value and learning along the way. So I love all that. Sorry, Justin.
So many ways to come at it.
No, absolutely. I noticed we had skipped over a couple of questions just because they came in fast and furious there. So want to hit them. So people
Sure.
don't think we're ignoring them. So and actually, Lou, it might be of benefit to just stop sharing so we can see the
Oh,
whole
yeah,
crew
sorry about
here.
that. Yep, I didn't
Yeah, and
realize
I'll just go to the Brady Bunch view here. Yeah, so we had Renison was asking if you, I'm not sure you could do this off the top of your head, might have to include it after the fact, but if maybe just mention it, can you please provide a list of software that you use? I know there's a lot that goes into video and kind of depends on what angle
Yeah.
you're coming at here, but if you want to mention some of your big ones.
Sure. I mean, it's funny because as much software as I buy and test, I tend to come back to the same go-tos. And essentially, like when I think about my process, I'm usually recording with Zoom. I'm usually editing with Final Cut Pro. And then I'll upload to YouTube and Facebook and LinkedIn. Those are kind of my three. And other than that, I mean, I use Descript again, especially with the podcast. I use Warm Welcome and SendSpark are the two video email tools that I use most often. But again, it's kind of like, they all sort of do the same thing. It just comes down to which one you're most comfortable using. But I pretty much record almost all my videos on Zoom unless I'm remote and I'm using my iPhone, which the iPhone basically is kind of like the all-in-one, Swiss Army knife of video. The other thing is if you're doing YouTube Shorts or TikToks, there is an editing software on the iPhone called CapCut, CapCut, which you can use. So that way, you don't even have to go to your computer. You can do everything right from your phone.
Yeah, that's super useful. Yeah, we had another question from Colleen. Any tips on looking good on camera, head angles, etc.? I'm not sure if you have any tips there.
I mean, the main thing, and honestly, the hardest thing is to engage and look at the camera. And it's hard because I'm looking at your faces here, but my camera's way up there. And it can be as simple as putting a Post-it note here and saying, remember to look at the camera. But honestly, it's really just a matter of practice in terms of composition. You don't want to be too far back or too far forward. You just want to be within the frame. And it's so much different than live speaking because you've got basically this much room to work with. So if you are used to speaking on stage and making all these big gestures, that's going to be a lot for that little box that you have on Zoom.
Yeah. A lot of this goes back to your 23rd tip, Lou. You don't overthink it, you just get going. You just got to get going. There was a comment here. It's a bit off topic, but I'll read it out loud because I think some people might be thinking it from Savita. If I download one of the Tools Motivation products, how can I use ChatGPT to quickly repurpose that content? I don't want to comment specifically on how to use ChatGPT for Tools Motivation content because I don't really know. Like quite frankly, I haven't done it. But we do have someone here, Chad Fullerton, has actually written an app that will rewrite Tools Motivation PLR content.
That's
so
right.
Chad, I know you're still working on kind of getting a public release. Some of you folks that are on our list probably saw an early, like a pre-launch to that. So he has an infinite rewriter tool that kind of combines AI with PLR. That would probably be my recommendation for that. I'll leave it at that. I don't know if anybody else, Lou or Marie, wants to comment on that.
Yeah.
I think you have to find the tools that are going to work best. Like ChatGPT, in my opinion, is like everything, right? It's like but I'm intentionally going outside my frame because I can't put it in one spot. I think with Chad's tool, like that was created in collaboration and chatting with Justin. So if you're thinking about PLR specifically, there's something to having the thing work just the way you need it to. And so that's what I'm kind of looking at when I think about ChatGPT doing everything and like just making it happen. I come from a productivity world. I come from efficiency world. I need to make things happen quickly in my world. And that means I'm going to use the tools that I know I need to use and do it quickly and efficiently. So Chad's here in the chat. You guys have questions too. He's been hanging out. So thanks, Chad.
And on that note, I just kind of wanted to acknowledge everybody here, but Lou, especially. Thank you so much, Lou, Marie, Chad. There's many other people as well. The purpose of today, as you can see, and as well as 2 Thursdays ago, is to be able to have this platform and this community here so that we can have great guests on like Lou and get amazing information and not be sucked into some of these webinars that we're just hearing about the person's life story and then a $2,000 pitch at the end. I think we're all tired of that. And we want to learn, and we want to learn from people that we can trust. So I'm super grateful for all of you that showed up here live and that you've invested your time today. But also those of you watching on the replay, please do continue to support these sessions. I'd love to be able to just keep this going. And by all of you showing up, it's going to be so much easier for us to get great guests like Lou and Marie on a regular basis. So if you have any requests of topics or people that you'd like to see us host and get some great information from, please send those in. Just go to the help desk at Tools Motivation. Those will get over to Marie and she can maybe work on getting that. But it's also super important to support our speakers. So I'm going to pop the link in once more for Lou's free gift. This is no pitch, but if you liked what he had to say and you want his free planner, definitely make sure you sign up and support his work. Get on the list. Obviously you can unsubscribe, but I think it's a great list to be on because you're going to get the best of the best video marketing tips. So hear it straight from the source, right? And again, Lou, awesome job. Everybody, virtual round of applause. You're on mute, but if those of you that are on camera can do this or put a little thumbs up or a clapping emoji reaction, that's super appreciative. I also noticed a few people asked, maybe you didn't hear it earlier on about the replay. So that will be posted on Friday to our YouTube channel. So make sure that you subscribe when you're there. I don't know if I hit all the questions, Maria, maybe you were following, but if I missed any, maybe pop it back in if you didn't get your question answered. You're also welcome. I'm going to go ahead and unmute everybody here. I'm going to, it doesn't let me.
I don't know you want to unmute everybody, but maybe allow people to unmute.
Yeah, allow. Yeah, there we go. Allow.
Much love for
yeah. So you're now allowed to unmute yourself, but it's not going to do a bulk unmute because that might get a little weird. But yeah, if you do want to hop on, just unmute your mic and just kind of start talking and hopefully we can figure out who it is. Otherwise, you can
also raise your digital hand. If you go to reactions down there, there's a raise hand feature that puts you up at the top left. And then we know that you want to say something because thankfully we have a ton of awesome people here and we cannot see everyone. So if you're waving at us, we probably can't see you. But Colleen, I see your little hi. It's good to see you. I see you're unmuted.
This question is for Chad. Is your Infinite Rewriter still sold out for TFM members if we missed it?
Colleen, yeah, you can just email. I'll put it in the chat. Actually, you can email our support desk and I'll get you in if you missed the offer earlier. All right, don't worry about that.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
awesome,
and Lou, let me know, Lou, if you want to get a copy of that as well. That could be handy for some of your video stuff as well.
Absolutely. And I did see a question from Jennifer before we leave about video length, which is a little bit of a trick question because there's not really an ideal length. It's really, what does it take to communicate your message? And it probably shouldn't be any artificially longer than that. Ideally, if you have a combination of short videos under 60 seconds that you can use on TikTok or YouTube Shorts and some longer videos, because again, LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, they want you to stay on their platforms as long as possible.
That's an awesome one. Love it. Chandra, I see your hand is up. Do you want to unmute yourself? Say hello.
Yeah, thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Sandra from North Carolina. And the question I had, well, first of all, I just want to say, I use Chad's Infinite Rewriter and it's really, really good. So I'm really glad I got in at the beginning of that. And the second thing is I have a question for Lou. Do you ever use in YouTube, I noticed that now that you can do a create post.
Yes.
And so do you ever use that with like a short, like really quick video? And if so, if you use it, how do you use it? And would you recommend using that in YouTube?
Yeah, this is one of those do as I say, not as I do, because I do not use it and I should. And basically that's YouTube's way to be a little bit more like Facebook and LinkedIn to get community going. And community is a really important part of YouTube. Obviously, if you get comments and you have interaction, they're going to, take better care of your videos. But I am guilty of not using it, but I think it's a great idea to use it because you're basically kind of, it's like adding a little Twitter feed to YouTube.
Okay. And is that like those posts, do you think they should lead up to a video? I mean, should you lead them back to your videos at some point, or should they lead to a video that you have on YouTube?
Yeah, definitely, because YouTube wants to keep you on the platform and they're already there. So everything that's, I always think about the video in the context of where it is. So those social posts on YouTube obviously are great to lead people to your YouTube videos.
Oh, great. Okay, thank you.
Great questions. I'm in North Carolina too, just so you know. So
there you
got
go.
you.
And there was no offer, Margaret. There was a free planner from Lou, which I'm going to pop in the link once more. The other product we were talking about was from Chad Fullerton. Chad, maybe just pop your email address in again. It was a AI PLR rewriter tool.
Yes.
Good questions. Good questions. Anybody else have a question? Feel free to either raise your digital hand. You can see it in reactions there. There's a raise hand option that'll pop you up. We've got Lou here. He's here to answer questions. I mean, this is the most exciting part of, everything else was good, but this is kind of fun, right? Like we can go off script. We can answer your questions about video, how this is working inside of your business. And we have the expert who's here, which is kind of
and the
cool.
other thing about, like this is video, right? Zoom has really come a long way. And I know they have their glitches now and then, but they're adding all kinds of integrations and features. And, you can go into Zoom and find backgrounds like this one. You can have a countdown timer on your Zoom. There's just all kinds of new integrations that they're using. I'm waiting for, because I'm from Boston, I'm waiting for the middle finger reaction, but they haven't had it.
I'm sure it's been requested enough.
Yes.
Hi,
Hey,
John
John.
Michael. You want to unmute
Yes.
yourself? Sorry, Justin, I'm talking over you, my friend.
No, you got it. You got it.
Hey, hi, this is John Michael. So on this infinite rewriter, was there a link on the chat to it, or I must have missed it or something?
Yeah, we have Chad Fullerton here, who's another one of our guest presenters, and he ran a deal for that at the start of the year. We just mentioned it because it was kind of came up as the answer to another question, so it wasn't really something we were planning on sharing. So just take a look in the chat. Chad's going to leave his email address, and you can ask him for more information about it.
Excellent, because I'm at the website and there's nowhere to sign up or anything there. So
Yeah, it's actually not publicly available. We got pre-launch access to it just for Tools to Automation
okay.
customers.
I
Yeah,
gotcha.
so we
Chad
got
he put his email in the chat.
There's a quick question there from Anna. I don't know if you see it there, Lou.
Oh, yeah.
and then Colleen.
What is the best demographic for short form video on YouTube and then long form on YouTube? I mean, ultimately, you're trying to go where your audience is. Short form is still tends to skew a lot younger, like TikTok and YouTube Shorts. I mean, YouTube Shorts was basically their response to TikTok because TikTok was taking off so much. But again, my audience tends to be a little bit older, so I don't do quite as much on TikTok and Shorts as I probably should.
Yeah.
Plus, like I said, my kids get mad when I post stuff on TikTok. So.
And Margaret.
Hi, how are you?
Hey, Margaret.
Good. So just want to let everybody know, I did get the Infinite Rewriter when it was the beta program, and it is such a game changer. I love it. Customer service is like, I can send an email to them if I'm having issues and they get back with you just like that. So yeah, the Infinite Rewriter, when it launches, it's gonna change the game. Seriously. I love it.
Awesome. Colleen had a question again. Colleen, you want to ask real quick?
Yeah, this is kind of a quick three-parter. This question is for Lou. What would you say is the easiest, the most difficult, and the most fulfilling part of doing video in your experience?
Wow. The easiest platform or the easiest aspect?
No, just your aspect.
Oh, honestly, I having been an editor in a past life in TV, I like to take a video and dress it up and edit it and fool around with it and maybe add some effects. I mean, I just enjoy doing that kind of stuff. So, and the other thing that's good about that is, they tend to have engagement. So, and I'm not spending a ton of money. Again, if I put my pug in the video, if I dress up like a goofball, that's going to tend to get more views than other videos, and those get more reactions. And the most satisfying part is just when people say, I didn't do video until I worked with you. And if I had known it was this easy, I would have started much earlier.
We have more questions coming in about Infinite Rewriter. So for now, I'm going to put a pause on those because today we want to focus on video. But Chad is going to be joining us for an entire session on March 23rd. So mark your calendar. We're going to get into the weeds of all that stuff. So, and if you have any questions, just send them into Chad's email. So we're going to leave it at that for today. in
Yeah, I
terms
don't want
of,
to. I don't want to take over Lou's presentation.
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
It came up as an answer. It was like, oh my God, here we go down a whole nother. But yeah, I want to keep it laser focused on this. But yeah, there's a lot. This what's so cool about Tools for Motivation is we just have so many awesome people that are part of our community and our partners and our customer base. And that was a big reason why Marie and I wanted to create these biweekly meetings, is because we were having so many internal meetings and discussions and learning all this great stuff. So we were thinking, how do we kind of leverage this and get it out to the customer base more? So creating sessions like this and getting a great turnout like we did today is perfect. This is an amazing start.
It's
So I really
it's so
appreciate
crazy,
that.
Justin, right? Because we have these conversations all the time. We'll bring somebody in, we have this internal conversation.
Yeah.
So really we're having an external conversation about how we chat about things all the time. So again, extremely thankful that everybody has taken time and joined us and asked questions, because it makes us all just know we're in the right space and be able to share some information. And I absolutely am thankful for that. So amazing.
100%. And that was sort of that was our mission for 2023, is like, we've been at this PLR game for 12 years. So we know, clearly everybody knows that we know how to produce PLR. If it's good enough quality that you're still here, we're doing our job. We're going to keep trying to improve. But now it's like, what else can we do? We wanted to really help people get the PLR into action. And so by bringing folks like Lou on, who can actually give you tangible stuff to do today to get videos up. I know video works. That's why I brought Lou on. If you see, I do a lot of video. It's because it brings clicks to our website. Those people join our list and we make money. And I want everybody else to be able to tell the same story. So that's our goal. If everybody can continue to support these meetings, that'll be amazing. I think Margaret's hand was from before. Chad has a hand up, and then we'll go to Chad.
Yeah, I just got one question for you, Lou. Just back to video. Well, first of all, like, I just want to know your workflow, because I have clients that do video and they do a lot of, like, they'll jump on YouTube Live or something like that and just sort of go with the flow. But once they, do you have an idea of like what people should use as a workflow to get their video planned out before they jump on camera? And especially for, like, when you get into something short, like an Instagram reel, you only got 60 seconds and it's really easy to ramble and go over the 60 seconds. So how can they condense everything down to 60 seconds and have it planned out before they hit record?
Yeah, and again, a lot of it really is planning. I mean, I think the video really happens in your head before you ever fire up the webcam. I mean, my process is different for longer videos. For short videos, I usually just kind of pop on and wing it. I might use something like StreamYard, which was really initially for Facebook Live, but you can actually use it to record videos. And that way I can sort of do it live on the fly without having to edit. But again, if it's something that's more, important, like my podcast or longer, I'm going to script it out. I'm not necessarily going to do a storyboard, but I'm going to have a pretty good idea of the images and where I bring in B-roll or where I bring in the scene or things like that. Obviously, like back in the day with TV production companies, they'd do an elaborate storyboard and you would know every single shot that you're going to create for video. I think for shorter videos, you just kind of say, hey, I'm going to do this. I may record it 2 or 3 times and take the best take, but I'm not going to do it 100 times for a 60-second video.
Awesome. Thanks.
I think for my stuff too, like I'm a bullet point person. Like, I don't want to have a teleprompter tell me what to say. But I love the bullet points and a little bit of planning. Like, I did a podcast the other day and we recorded it video. We put it up on YouTube, all that stuff. And my podcast host and we just said, okay, what are the 5 things we want to make sure we hit? And we just want to go through here. For me, it makes it less like I will ramble, to Chad's point, and more like I'm going to get my point across. I know I'm going to talk for about 15 minutes. I think again, going back to that, make it easy, just start. And I think that was Lou's biggest point to remind myself too, is just get out there and do it and make it your own flow without overthinking it too much. So same, I'm glad that you're kind of echoing the same sort of stuff that we're all thinking, but great question too from Chad. Detra, did you have a quick question for us?
Yes, just real quick. Thanks for the session. I just had a question. You mentioned that you were repurposing some of the Tools for Motivation videos where you're putting something on the front end and on the back end. I was just wondering if you had any examples of that so we could kind of see how you're doing it.
I can see if I can find something and send it back to Justin. I can't think off the top of my head. Oftentimes I'll just take that content and try to add some, Louisms to it to make it a little bit more personalized. But my point was, like with anything, even if you're doing a slide video, I want to be on camera at the beginning and at the end to engage with people, face to face as video can get, because that way they're going to see that it's me and my brand and not something generic. And I think that's going to get more important as AI comes more into play. Everybody's going to be posting the same stuff. So rather than copy and paste, try to put your own stamp on it.
Great. Thank you.
So folks, I'm just going to jump in quick. I'm going to stop the recording because we just went over an hour. For those of you here that are live still, please do stick around because I've got a special announcement for those of you, a special thank you gift for those of you that came live. For those of you watching the recording, show up to the live next one and you'll see what this is all about. But I look forward to continue to support Lou. Thanks again. Make sure for those of you watching on the recording that you get on Lou's list and support the work. And yeah, we'll see everybody on the next one. We're going to keep these rolling every second Thursday for 2023. We'll see you soon.
Thanks so much, you guys. Appreciate it.